Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is a show that I've been waiting to do for a long time. Trade deadline is always some of the best time in basketball. How are we doing today out there? We've got some nice weather here in California. We've got it's a little windy, but it's all good. Played some golf this week. I've been getting back to working out, and it's fun because that quarantine dad bod is getting real. But it's all good. Walked a little bit today and got on the Peloton yesterday. Going to do some more running. But let's get to today. Action-packed. The last 2 days have been crazy. I wanted to get on the show. I wanted to do a live show, but then I was like, let's just wait and see how it all plays out. And we had some good trades, I thought. Two guys that didn't get moved that I thought were going to get moved didn't get moved. In Kyle Lowry and Lonzo Ball. We've got some March Madness to talk about. We've got it's a big weekend in March Madness. We've got some a lot of NBA news though. This show is gonna be a lot more NBA based, and we'll talk some March Madness. But let's get to the trades. And I'll run through the trades first, and then I'll grade them. What I think was what were the better trades and which ones weren't. So you got Victor Oladipo to the Heat. We got JJ Redick to the Mavs. Rondo to the Clippers, and I'll give you a little insight. I think that's the best trade. Aaron Gordon to the Nuggets, Vucevic to the Bulls, Fournier to the Celtics, George Hill to the 76ers, Norman Powell to the Blazers. I'm going to talk a little bit about that one. I think that's a big one. And Javale to the Nuggets. And so let's start off with the people that made the most noise, the Orlando Magic. They kind of unloaded the ship, you would want to say. I thought they were going to move Terrence Ross, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to let go of everybody, but I guess they didn't. They sent Aaron Gordon, obviously one of the bigger names who said he wanted out for Orlando Magic. He was sent to the Denver Nuggets for Gary Harris and RJ Hampton. That was a good... that's a good trade for Denver, I think, but Gary Harris is a player that I really like. He's one of those guys that I call a glue guy, but he wasn't really healthy there for a while, so that might have been a reason why. RJ Hampton and a 2025 first round pick that was sent over as well to the Orlando Magic for Aaron Gordon, top 5 protected. And I think it'll make him better. He plays well off the ball. He's a high-flowing guy. He's having a great year this year. I just don't know if that puts him over the top. I really don't. That was a trade that, the Nuggets maybe that gives him like a little boost of energy, I want to say, because that's really all I could find from that, to be honest with you. His stats aren't bad this year. He's having a pretty good year. University of Arizona kid, California kid. I'm looking at his stats here now. He's averaging 14 points. It's not bad. Shooting 37% from 3-point land. 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Not bad. I think it'll help him. But yeah. I don't know how much I like the trade, but hey, Nuggets got their man. They were unloading. And then they also traded Fournier to the Magic. They also traded Evan Fournier to the Celtics for Jeff Teague. I like Evan Fournier. I think he's a scorer, automatic scorer, but I think the Celtics needed to get bigger, and they traded Tice and they got Mo Wagner. I don't know how much. I don't know if I really like that for them. Tice takes a lot of. I mean, he's a smaller, big guy, but he plays. He plays big. He's shooting the ball well from three. I don't know how much. Mo Wagner is a little bit of bigger, she's more of like a stretch four. I mean, he is a stretch four. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, Evan Fournier, I like that trade though. I really do. I really do. I really do like that trade for them. Just because he's a scorer, he's instant offense. He get going at any time. And the team that I want to talk about a little bit is the Sacramento Kings. They're only 3 games out. They made some trades. They got DeLon Wright, who I absolutely love. DeLon Wright, Los Angeles, California kid, went to Utah. I love DeLon Wright, the way he plays. They traded for Corey Joseph and some draft picks. I love DeLon Wright. I've always liked him. He plays hard. He's a good defender, good scorer, makes the team better. I thought last year, the Mavericks getting rid of him was not very good, and we're seeing the Pistons kind of blow things up. And this was a year that I thought they were. I thought they had a good offseason, but it is what it is. And then another big piece, the Chicago. To stay on the Magic, they let go of Vucevic to the Chicago Bulls. I thought that was a great trade. I like Vucevic. He's one of the best bigs in the league, I think. And Alfred Amino, who's also really good. Good. They traded Wendell Carter, who they drafted really high a couple years ago. They traded Otto Porter and 2 future first-round picks for Vooch. It came out of I didn't see that coming, honestly. For the Chicago Bulls had a pretty interesting day, and yeah, they were. Interesting day for them. I guess they think, I don't know, contenders maybe. Another trade that went down was the Heat got for Mo Harkless and Chris Silva. The Kings traded away. This is another trade that we all thought the Raptors were going to get rid of Norman Powell and Kyle Lowry, but Kyle Lowry didn't go. But they traded Norman Powell, who's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league right now, flies under the radar, for Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. That was a pretty big trade for me, I thought. Gary Trent was big last year in the bubble. He was good. Rodney Hood could defend. He was hurt a little bit, but I don't know how much I guess Norman Powell, I haven't watched enough of the Tampa Bay Raptors. If you guys know, they're playing in Tampa Bay. They're not playing in Canada this year. But Gary Trent, I don't know how much I like getting rid of a guy like that. But hey, Norman Powell is shooting the ball as well this year. I think the Blazers need a little bit of a change because they're right there. They're right in that little bubble, right? They're right there. And maybe they think Norman Powell could get them over that hump, but we'll see. The 76ers got George Hill in a 3-team trade with the Knicks and the Thunder. I think George Hill brings some presence. He won't make a clutch free throw. Ask LeBron James and the Cavaliers that. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I think that'll make the team better. It's a good trade, I think. Just veteran leadership. And of course, the Knicks receive Ferguson and send Austin will be moved from the Knicks to the Thunder. And of course, they got draft picks, right? Now that's 100 draft picks for the Thunder in the next 3 years. I like this one. This is an under the radar one for me, but I really like this one. The Jazz acquired Matt Thomas from the Raptors for a 2nd-round pick. I love Matt Thomas. He's a guy that could shoot, and I think the Jazz need more scoring, and I think they got that to add with Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. Matt Thomas is a stud. No one really knows about him, but the guy could shoot, flat out shoot. He's shooting 47% from the 3-point land. I think he's a great pick for them. I like that. I like that a lot. And like I said, Mo Wagner was moved from the Wizards. Then he was moved to the Bulls, and then he was moved to the Celtics. So Tice, like I said, I went over that already. Marquise Chris goes to the Spurs. A pick that So the Mavs picked up JJ Redick and Melly for the Pelicans for James Johnson and some money and a pick. Now, JJ Redick is having, I don't know what type of a year he's having because they've kind of stashed him away. He doesn't play very much. And the Mavs are in the playoff hunt. And I remember last year when the Pelicans signed him, he made a joke with Zion saying, hey, you better keep this playoff streak going because I've made the playoffs X amount of years and now he'll be in the playoffs again. But I just don't know how much, I don't know if that makes the Mavericks any better. I like Melly a lot. He could shoot the ball, stretch the floor, but they already have a guy like that in Kleba. So I don't know. This was kind of just like I don't want to call it a wash because JJ Redick is obviously he could bring some value, but I don't know how much value. The Heat. So this is a fun one. The Heat got Victor Oladipo, which I think it makes him obviously a lot better. I think Victor Oladipo and Jimmy Butler make a hell of a tag team punch. They're both tough guys. They're kind of both cut from the same cloth. They play hard. I think Oladipo fits that fits their mold, and I think I like it. And then, so I want to go over this haul. I read this crazy thing that I'm going to read to you guys here. All that the Rockets ended up getting for James Harden. But I do think with them getting all this, I still think they're the biggest loser in all of this because they could have had Ben Simmons. Think about that. They could have had Ben Simmons. And so let's see what the Rockets got from him. They got 9 first-round picks and swaps, 20 games of Victor Oladipo, Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and Dante Exum. So obviously the nine first-round picks, is great. But they should have got Karis LeVert. I thought they should. I don't know who's even running the Rockets anymore. Avery Bradley's probably gonna get bought out. Kelly Olynyk, he's probably, I don't know what he's gonna do because he could help somebody. He could play spot minutes. But Avery Bradley's, according to sources, is looking to get bought out. And look out for the Lakers. He was on the Lakers last year and helped them out a lot last year. But I don't know what. If you're a Rockets fan, I don't know what you really think about that, honestly, to be honest with you. And then another trade, we had JaVale McGee go to the Nuggets. JaVale McGee is going to help any team. He was with the Lakers. I watch the Lakers obviously on a nightly basis. I like them a lot. I like JaVale a lot. He's going to play, not going to play huge minutes, but when he comes in, he impacts. He was a good pick and roll guy, rebounds, runs, great lob guy, good guy in the locker room too. He's a good pickup for them. And the trade that I think was the best of this, was quietly the best, was Rondo to the Clippers for Lou Will, to be honest with you. I absolutely love that. I love Rondo. And obviously I'm a Laker fan, but I'm just a fan of the game. And what Rondo has done, obviously he was a Celtic and he was great for the Celtics. And Rondo's one of those guys that's not going to really, he's one of those guys, he's older in his career now, he's back end. I don't know if he doesn't care about the regular season anymore, but he obviously wasn't a good fit for the Hawks, but he got paid. And the Clippers always had an eye on Rondo. They always wanted Rondo. They were like at the back end, they just didn't have the money to pay him. Now he goes over for Lou Will and a pick, I believe. And I like Lou Will. Lou Will, Lemon Pepper Lou going to Atlanta. If you know that analogy, you know what I'm talking about. Lemon Pepper Lou. But Rondo to the Clippers almost seems to me like something the Clippers almost needed. They don't have sometimes the Clippers don't have an identity. And Rondo is the type of guy that'll give you an identity. If you watch the Lakers last year, he kind of tied the team up together, if that makes any sense. He's one of those guys that's a floor general. He's going to run the offense. He's a good guy in the locker room, good guy in the film room, makes guys around him better. And he's a different player in the postseason. That's kind of what the Clippers needed. They needed a guy to step up in the postseason because sometimes Pandemic P, as I like to call him on my show, doesn't show up. And then Kawhi Leonard sometimes goes on dry spells. And they needed a guy that kind of like lifts the spirits, kind of not afraid to call guys out. He's obviously was around LeBron last year. And, yeah. I think I like that pickup for the Clippers a lot. I like it a ton, to be honest with you. They needed that. Now, does that put them over the top? Does that make them? Does that scare you for like the Lakers or a team like that? I still don't think so. And you guys hear me talk about the Lakers a lot on this show, and I'll talk about that here in a second. And I'm going to grade out what I thought were the best trades. I thought, like I said, Rondo to the Clippers was, I think, the best trade to me. The Bulls got a hell of a center as well. I'll give that a pass. I'm gonna go pass and fail. Aaron Gordon to the Nuggets. Like I said, I don't know how much that puts him over the top, but I'll give it a pass. Fournier to the Celtics. I like that a lot. Norman Powell to the Blazers. I'm gonna give that a retake because I just, like I said, Gary Trent and Rodney Hood brought a lot to the table. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've watched Norman Powell enough to. I don't know. He is shooting lights out from three this year. JaVale to the Nuggets. I like a lot. The only trade I don't like, to be honest with you, I love the fact that the Victor Oladipo to the Heat. I think that's great for the Heat. I think the Heat ripped off the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets. If you watch my show a couple of days or like last week, I said Houston, we got a problem. In Houston, we might have a bigger problem, Houston. But yeah, Vooch and Zach LaVine, I'm gonna like that. That's gonna be fun to watch. That's gonna be really fun to watch. Fournier to the Celtics, I think that's good, but I think the Celtics needed to get bigger. I do, and they got rid of Tice, and I don't know how much bigger Mo Wagner makes you. I don't. I really don't. So, we thought the Lakers were gonna make a move, and I want to talk about that a little bit. I guess the tie-up was Dennis Schroeder, Caldwell Pope, and who else did they want? And Taylor Horton-Tucker. And the Lakers said no. We're not giving away THT. If you know anything about Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's a young guy moving into his roles. He's still young. He's still only 19 years old, 20 years old. He still plays a little bit with his head down, a little bit too much for my liking. But he's young. He's a sponge. He can score. He's instant offense. And I don't think the Lakers are willing to give that up for 35-year-old Kyle Lowry. And I don't like how they were going to give up Dennis Schroeder. I don't know how much I liked it. I was texting people all around yesterday. And one of my good friends who's very close to the NBA is like, Eddie, think about it. If it's their win now, if they get Kyle Lowry, I didn't like it so much. He was trying to convince me into it. I didn't like it, to be honest with you. KCP hasn't had the season the Lakers have wanted, but I think maybe his name being thrown around a little bit in trade talks kind of puts lights a fire under him a little bit. Montrezl Harrell has to be better, I think, too. He's played better as of late. And then Dennis Schroeder, who is I don't know, I hope this doesn't hurt them going in the long run, because they're going to have to sign him this offseason. And unless they're looking for Lonzo or a guy like that, I'm not sure they can afford Lonzo. But so THC kind of was the holdup with the Lakers, and I guess the holdup for the Heat with Kyle Lowry was they wanted Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, and they said no, we're not going to do that for good reason. Duncan is a hell of a shooter, young guy, and then Tyler Hero, his upside is insane. I think he could be one of the best players. Not one of the best players. He could be a player. He could be a top tier player in this league. And by top tier, I'm obviously don't mean a superstar, right? I think he's a hell of a player, though. He's young. You got to remember, these guys are young. They don't come into their own. Sometimes I used to be this guy too. I was like, oh my God, where is this guy? Like, what's going on? They're young. They're 18, 19. What were you doing at 18, 19, 20 years old, 21 years old, 22 years old? It takes a while to get used to this league. It's the NBA. It's the best basketball players in the world. Come on. It takes some time. And I think they're not quite ready to give up. I don't know why I'm even giving up on Tyler, but I wouldn't have traded him either for Kyle. I think Kyle Lowry makes the team a lot better. It's going to be interesting to see with him going forward. Another interesting one that didn't get traded that we thought was going to get traded was Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball was high on a lot of people's list. I heard the name the Clippers floating around. I heard a lot of names, the Heat floating around. But I guess the price was too big. And obviously the Pelicans, I talked about this early in my show. I don't like guys walking for nothing. Especially if the Pelicans, let me look where they're at in the standings. I don't know how... so they're currently on the outside looking in. 19 games, so they're 3 games back. I don't know. I hate to see players walk for nothing, and Lonzo might do that because I don't know if the Pelicans have the money to pay him that money. I guess we'll see. But they didn't. I guess they didn't get the package they wanted. They didn't want to get ripped off like the Houston Rockets, who kind of just gave up Victor Oladipo for a bag of chips. And yeah. But I like the trade deadline. It's always fun. My phone was buzzing off the. I have Woj and Shams kind of notified on my phone. My phone was bouncing off the hook. I had friends texting me. I had people all over calling me. It was fun. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun second half of the campaign, and we'll talk about it a little bit more how this impacts them coming up on the show. We've still got March Madness to talk about. We've got the buyout market, which is also a whole market in itself. It's another kind of a trade deadline, kind of a fun time. So I'll get into that. I'll dive into that. I'll dive into the more buyout, like I said, the buyout market, how the trades are going to affect this. And we'll talk some March Madness here coming up later on the show. And did Draymond Green say he was the best defender ever? Oh my gosh, I'll get into that as well. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back after this brief message.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. I gave you guys a run around on the trade market. That was some good trades this on this crazy Thursday afternoon. Now it gets fun. The buyout market is always a market that sometimes you didn't really know of guys that would be at the buyout market. But I was just on Twitter. Twitter's where I get a lot of my news, and I read a lot of big time writers. And the buyout market's going to be fun this year. Marvin Bagley, the second overall pick in the draft, looks like he's gonna be bought out. He's had a tough one because no one he hasn't been able to have a stable team, and obviously we see Andre Drummond being a buyout market, be probably the head of the buyout market. We thought JJ Redick was gonna be at the buyout market. But he wasn't. He ended up getting traded. I think the Mavericks jumped on that before he could leave. And then another one that I think might, like I said early on the show, LaMarcus Aldridge got bought out. And then the one that I think will get Avery Bradley. Look out for that one with the Miami. He got traded today from the Miami Heat, so he'll probably get bought out. And then maybe the Thunder always like buying dudes out. Who else? LaMarcus Aldridge, like I said. And then we have Austin Rivers, another one that could be bought out. That's a one to look forward to. Courtney Jane could be bought out. Corey Joseph could be bought out. Rodney Hood, I think, is somebody that could help out a lot of people. He's very underrated. He could guard. He could score. He's good. But Hassan Whiteside is another one. Ben McLemore, he could help out a team and stretch the floor out. I'm just going through names right now. Mo Harkless, Ronnie Magruder, former Clipper, Jabari Parker, like I said. Jeff T could be bought out. there's some good players. I think a lot of these teams could obviously. Drummond's an interesting one to me, and I want to elaborate a little bit on Drummond. So Drummond, I'm hearing he has interest from the Lakers, obviously, and then the Knicks. Those are the top two that I think would be the top two, I think, for him. So the Knicks are interesting because the Knicks are interested in him long term, right? Are the Knicks going to win a championship this year? No. Do the Lakers have a chance to win the championship this year? Yes. Do the Lakers need him? Yes. Do the Knicks need him? Yes. But the difference between that is, so if you're Andre Drummond, do you go to the Knicks and you're potentially going to be, you're probably, they're interested in signing you long term, and then the Lakers you're more of like a rental. So I don't know how he'll take that, but he's kind of in his back end of his, the back end of his career. So if he's looking for a championship or trying to make a bag, I think he's going to make a bag anyway. And I think by a bag, I mean money, for those of you guys that don't know that. But he could really help out the Lakers and the Knicks. But if I'm Andre Drummond, what do? You view it in both ways. Do you want to set yourself up financially, or do you want to, kind of test your luck with the Lakers and kind of make a deep run in the playoffs? That's kind of what the Lakers are selling you at this point. And the Knicks are kind of selling you like long-term commitment. Personally, I think he's already made $100 million. So, but I'm not going to count another man's money. I just think you got to go for the ring, right? Especially, I don't know. He'll play bigger minutes. Also, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, so he'll get more. He'll get more value with the Knicks because I think he'll play a little bit more than with the Lakers. But the Lakers do need a big Marc Gasol. Obviously, hasn't worked out for them, and they need kind of a guy, a shot blocker, a rebounder, a guy that could roll and kind of play a little bit above the rim. Obviously, he's not Andre Drummond of old, but Marc Gasol, you could slip a paper underneath him. But yeah, I think there's some great candidates. Avery Bradley was awesome for the Lakers before the bubble. Obviously, he chose not to play for the Lakers in the bubble for COVID reasons and whatnot, and that was his own personal decision. I thought he was a great pickup for the Heat. They obviously made him an asset, and I think he could be bought out. He could be look for him again with the Lakers or a contender, a team like even like the Clippers, who could use a gun, even though they got Rajon Rondo as for a guard. That could be interesting. Austin Rivers could be somebody. Courtney Jang, like I said. Corey Joseph could help a team. I really do think Courtney Joseph could help a team. He could still shoot it. He's a good defender, runs a point. But the guy that I like the most, to be honest with you, there's a lot of guys. I like Ben McLemore. Hassan Whiteside's a little lazy for me. Jabari, obviously second pick. But the guy that I like the most is Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood, I really do like him a lot. And like I said, I don't know, the Raptors didn't sell. The Raptors didn't sell Kyle Lowry. So I don't know if they're really going for it, but they're on a bad streak right now. But Rodney Hood, look out for Rodney Hood. He can make a team better overnight. It's going to be an interesting buyout market. And obviously, LaMarcus just got bought out, so we're going to see how this all plays out. It's going to be fun to see. I really do think it's going to be fun to see. The NBA, I'll tell you what. There's no other sports league in here than the NBA. They're like a reality show. Like they're legit a reality show because they're so good at doing all this stuff. Like every offseason is fun because you get the trades, you get the free agents, and then every trade deadline is fun. It's a movie. You really don't know what to expect. You've got all these insiders now that kind of release all their sources now on Twitter and all social media platforms and stuff like that. So you kind of see it firsthand. I was watching a show today, and they were talking about before there was phones, right? You wouldn't even know how if you got traded or whatnot. And it's funny how the evolution of all this has kind of changed, and it's just funny to see it how it all plays out and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get into this topic, even though I don't want to get into this topic, because there's certain players, you're either going to love me or hate me for this, but Draymond Green this week, I didn't want to talk about it, but I have to talk about it because, Draymond. So I could go into a whole segment on Draymond, and I might just very well do it. So I think Draymond was drafted by the Warriors in a perfect position. He was surrounded by, and I might take some heat for this, but I'm okay with that. He was surrounded with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala. The list goes on. I'm going to ask this legitimate question. Has Draymond Green ever guarded the best player on the other team in big stretches of the game? So I'm going to go back to that Heat series. Did he ever guard LeBron? No. They put Andre Iguodala on him. What else? Who else? Did he guard Dame? No. Klay did. He's not even the best defender on his team. And I can make the argument that when KD was on the team, he was probably the third or fourth best defender on that team. And you want to say you're the best defender in the league? Come on, man. Come on. He's not even the best defender on any given night when he plays against anybody. I'm trying to think of a time since so Draymond's been in the league for a couple of years now. About, handful of years now. He's got paid. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a perfect guy in a perfect situation that kind of capitalized on his situation. I think the Warriors would have been just fine without him. They would have. You plug in any other obviously what he did was huge. He's a great screener. I'll give him that. He's a great screener. But what has Draymond been since these guys have been out? Literally, what has he done? And I get he's a glue guy. I might take some heat for saying he's he's this, that he's that. But what is Draymond? If you put Draymond on any other team, would he be doing the same thing? No, he wouldn't. I'll make it easy for you. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. And I hear all these people, Draymond. What has Draymond Green done this year? He's maybe scored in double figures. What? I was betting I've been tapping into the world of betting. Let me pop up Draymond's stats here. I've been in the world of betting lately, and FanDuel does a good. I'm not getting paid to say this, but FanDuel does. I think they have the best betting situation. You could bet on guys, scoring points, steals, all that good stuff. And one night, one of the bets was Draymond Green scoring 10 points and the Warriors winning. And they weren't playing the best team. They were just playing an average team. And I think to win, the bet to win $5 was like $30. And I was like, wait, what? Why is that so? Draymond can't score 10 points? Like, they're going to win the game, right? You knew they were going to win the game. But Draymond's not going to score 10 points. Why is this bet so high? I almost took the bet. And I didn't realize how low his point total was. And obviously that's not what Draymond does. Draymond does what doesn't show up on the stat sheet, as he loves to say. Right? That's kind of his thing. That's his kind of his MO. That's kind of what he says. He's averaging 8.8 points a game. So ever since they've won, he's averaged 7.4. So he averaged 11, which is, in the championship years, he's averaged 14, 10, 11. And then KD's gone, 7. Klay's gone, 8. And now Klay and Steph are kind of out, 6. So don't come at me about this Draymond talk. I'll come at you all the time defending how Draymond is a perfect guy in a perfect situation. And I think obviously it takes talent to do what he did, but not to be, what is it? I'm losing my mind here. I'm going to talk some defenders that are way better than, I wouldn't even, so if I heard that, I wouldn't even put Draymond in my, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think Iggy's more of a Hall of Famer than he is, and Iggy's not a Hall of Famer personally. He is a Finals MVP. And you might think, oh, Eddie, you're a hater, you're a Laker guy, you're a LeBron guy, you're this guy. No, I'm just talking from a fan's perspective. You mean to tell me Draymond Green is a better defender than Ron Artest? And I'm just talking about guys that, like, lately. I'm not going to go deep like Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't see Hakeem play. I don't like to make judgments on guys that I didn't see play. I don't. It's not my, it's not what I do. Because I like to see guys. I like the eye test. I think the eye test is huge. Numbers are good and all, but I want to see an eye test. I want to see the guys play. I'm not going to tell you on something that I didn't see, right? It's just the way I go about things. You might not like it, but hey, Kevin Durant was a better defender. Kevin Garnett was a better defender. Scottie Pippen was a better defender. Dennis Rodman was a better defender. Dwight Howard was a better defender. Bruce Bowen was a better defender. I've just named like 5 or 6 guys, and I still haven't thought about Draymond Green. Ben Wallace was a better defender. Kawhi Leonard is a better defender. Michael Jordan was a better defender. Gary Payton was a better defender. Shaquille O'Neal was a better defender. Tony Allen was a better defender. I'm still not thinking about Draymond. LeBron was a better defender. Kobe was a better defender. Rudy Gobert is a better defender. Hell, Paul George, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I'm just saying guys off the top of my head. Andre Iguodala, Jason Kidd. I mean, come on. This is baloney. And I don't know if he was just trying to do this to get guys like me fired up or the media fired up, or I don't know. But what is it with Chris Paul's a better defender than him? Like, come on. Are we really going to do that right now, Draymond? And I get maybe they want some noise out in the Bay or whatnot. He was even the best defender on it. Klay Thompson's a better defender than Draymond Green. Sheesh, man. This stuff fires me up. It really does. Avery Bradley's a better defender. Now let's go look at the last defensive players of the years. Because this, like, it's just crazy to me. And I might sound like a Draymond hater. I'm not. Stop it. Mutombo. I saw Mutombo toward the back end of his career, but come on, man. You mean to tell me you're a better defender than Scottie Pippen? So Giannis, Rudy Gobert, I guess he won it. Joakim Noah was a better defender. LeBron James, Tyson Chandler was a better defender than you. KG. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, I can't even put it in my top 10, not even top 15, not even maybe top 20 ever. No, I'm not even going to put it in my top 20. I can't put it in my top 20. And oh my gosh. I was a field goal kicker back in my day. I played college football. And for me, if I went to a camp, I was a top rated guy in the country at some point. It was. I'm not going to go into the camp and be like, yo, I'm the top rated guy when I know there's guys that are just better than me. Actually, there is no one better than me. I'm kidding. There's kids obviously better than me. I'm on a talk show. I'm talking sport. I'm talking basketball now. Right? I played football. But I love the game. I loved it. But I wasn't going to say I was the best at it. And obviously I wasn't on Draymond status or whatnot, but you got to know your role, man. You got to have a little, if I'm like Draymond's buddy, am I telling him, yo, dude, you're the best defender? Like, no. A real buddy's not going to tell you you're the best defender, man. Oh, man, that really got me fired up, ladies and gentlemen. My back is sweating. I'm fired up right now. I'm fired up. Because, you know, and if you know me well, you're going to say, oh, Eddie, you hate the Warriors. You hate the Warriors. No, I don't. I love Klay Thompson. I love Kevin Durant. Did they take a championship away from LeBron? Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's why I don't like the Warriors. No. The Warriors had their shine. Good ownership, good front office. They drafted well. But I'll tell you what, if they get any other guy than Draymond, I still think they're winning those. They're not losing those champions. They're not winning or losing those championships based on Draymond. They're not. They're not. Come on. You mean to tell me they won that championship because of Draymond Green? That's a lot of Draymond. That's a lot of Draymond Green talk on my show. I probably will never talk about Draymond Green that much ever again. Oh man, that got me really fired up. And then Tony Allen kind of went at it with him too on social media. That was fun. Tony Allen told him, "Come on, man." That's basically what he said. He said, "Come on, man. Come on, man. Like wake up, smell the roses. Like, come on." And that's what somebody had to tell him. Draymond, man, he's a character. I think he's a character more than anything. And I guess he doubled down. Did he double down? So Draymond said, "I think I'm the best defender to ever play in the NBA. I stand by that. I'd put myself against anyone." And then Tony Allen said, "Big Cap." As you guys know, Cap is kind of like, it's going too far. Who stamped you? Who you clamp? Like who'd you lock up? In other words of Jay-Z, we don't believe you. You need more people. Then Draymond came back. What did Draymond say? I had it here. I did my notes. I did my homework. But Draymond came at him and basically said, "No, I'm that guy. I'm the GOAT." And, here he goes. "I was waiting on you to stamp me, big homie, but your stamp book started running low in 2015 when we used you against your team on the way to the first championship." And then Tony Allen said like yo stamp book now because it's 4-on-5 out there right now. Call Clay. Hey, Tony Allen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hey, I'm with Tony Allen, and I'm gonna sound like a Draymond hater, but I just don't think it's right. People could come out here and say whatever they want now, and hey, maybe that sounds like what I'm doing right now is kind of going off on Dre, but I'm obviously not the only one that thinks that way. Guys, we got more coming up on the show. I promise you, I won't go in on that. I won't go in on Draymond like that anymore. It's the last I talk about Draymond on the show. But stick around. We got some more March Madness to talk about. Huge weekend coming up. I'm going to give you guys my predictions. My bracket's not looking so hot, but that's okay. Stick around. We'll be right back after this brief message.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. And we talked a little earlier about the NBA trade deadline. We got around to, I went off a little bit about Draymond Green. I hope no feelings were hurt there. And then we won't talk any more Draymond on the show. But I want to get to some NBA recaps, and then I'm going to give you guys my predictions for this weekend's March Madness, which is going to be a great weekend. I'm so excited for it. There's going to be some great, phenomenal basketball being played. But first, let's get to this, to some games that were played, March on the 26th, right before the weekend. We had the Heat against the Trailblazers. Trailblazers came out on top 125-122. The Knicks beat the Wizards. No surprise there. Clippers beat the Spurs 98-85. That was, no Lou Will. Lemon Pepper Lou's gone, and I'll talk about that here a little bit later. Then we got the Sixers. The Lakers made a late surge, but they are missing Anthony Davis and LeBron James pretty heavily. They got to win tonight. The Warriors. I'm hearing a lot of rumble about the Warriors maybe making a run to the playoffs, but they got beat pretty good the other night, 141-119. No Steph Curry, only Draymond Green. You guys know what that means. I won't get into that. The Nets, they held off the Detroit Pistons. I'll talk about James Harden a little bit later in the segment. But the Detroit Pistons are playing. They play hard. I must say they just don't win many games. But like Blake Griffin's dunking again. He has 3 dunks this year. He didn't dunk one time for the Pistons earlier this year, which is a little different. They gave him a little. I don't know if they gave him a tribute video. He was waving at the crowd, and they just thanked him. I think. I don't know if they. I want to get into that tribute video thing. What's the deal with tribute videos? I'll talk about that here in a second. I'm going to dive into that. Who deserves a tribute video? And then the Suns held off the Raptors. That's got to be weird for Kyle Lowry. Like, think about that. You're supposed to be in a different place, and then all of a sudden, you're still there. Obviously, they drafted him, or not they didn't draft him, but that's his long-term home. But he was supposed to get traded. That's what all the speculation said. Kyle Lowry was gone, and then you're still there. That's got to be a little weird, just like mentally, right? I can't imagine that being like I don't know. But they lost tonight, 104-100. I'll tell you, Booker's special. Chris Paul, though, had a hell of a game for them. The Celtics had, I think, the most impressive win of the season for them. 122-114. Jason Tatum had 34 points of his own. Giannis had 16, 8, and 5. But the Celtics, I've talked a lot about the Celtics. Celtics are very up and down. I scored 43 points in the third quarter. That's a lot of points. I don't know if that's a testament to their offense or to the Milwaukee defense. But they're a great I don't know. I said they're not as good as I thought they were. They're a little small for me, for my liking. They met with Andre Drummond today, which is very interesting. If they could get Andre Drummond, I think that kind of solves a couple of their issues about being too small, like I said. That could be a big buyout for them. I was reading that just a little bit earlier on that with the Celtics picking Andre Drummond would be huge. The Charlotte Hornets, they beat the Miami Heat 110-105, my favorite team. And there's some good news with Charlotte. I reported earlier in the week that LaMelo was done for the year, but there might be some... we might get some LaMelo Ball again. We don't know. There's some speculation going around that he might be back, and he had surgery the other day, earlier this week, so he might be back. The Charlotte Hornets, they can make that push. Here we go. My favorite Eastern Conference team. They play hard. Trailblazers, no Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum stepped up and had 22 points of his very own against the Magic, who probably don't have enough players. They traded everyone yesterday. I feel like I don't even know how they had enough players to suit up tonight. They had maybe 8 players. It seems like they traded their whole team, but they won. They won pretty They won pretty big. And then we had another game for tonight was The Timberwolves and the Rockets. Oh man, this was so tough. This was so tough because I've told you guys how much I love Steven Silas. I do, but the Timberwolves ended the game on a 22-0 run. I mean, come on, you got to feel for the Rockets, even though they're not. You still got to feel for them, right? That's tough. That was a tough game for them. Unfortunately, they took an L. And Steven Silas, man, he's had a tough year. Let's see how Edwards did, because I was watching a little bit of this game. Let's see if you see 4 for 17. This is what I'm telling you guys. 12 points. This is my Anthony Edwards for Rookie of the Year. This is why I can't get so much support. 4 for 17, 12 points, minus 12. And they won. Come on. I need you. Karl Anthony Towns, 29. He stepped up big. He's having a good year. I think he's finally playing freer. He had a tough offseason, I tell you. Tough offseason. The Pelicans come up short against the Nuggets. They had a rough. That was, if you watch the end of that game, there was about 12 seconds left. They had enough time to shoot a shot. They didn't even get a shot off at the end of the game. Come on. They got to be better. Zion Williams, he had a career-high 39 points. He had a hell of a ball game in 38 minutes. He had 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Oh, man, you hate for them to spoil a night like that. Brandon Ingram's got to be better. 5 for 17 from the field, 13 points. Eric Bledsoe, tough night. No, it's not a bad night for him. But you hate to see a night like that spoiled. Lonzo's still out, so that's obviously But they have to get going, the Pelicans. The Mavericks lost to the Pacers. I'll tell you what, the Pacers are going to be a tough team. LeVert's back. LeVert's a baller. That's a team to look out for. The Pacers are kind of like the Spurs in the West. They're very underrated. No one ever really talks about them. They kind of go about their own, and no one really kind of pays. But that's a team that we'll look out for. They're a tough basketball team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat. The Grizzlies, that's a tough one. John Morant had a hell of a night, 32 points, 11 assists. And Donovan Mitchell had 35 points as well. Tough one for the Grizzlies, 114 to 117. They fall. The Jazz just finding ways to win. Then the Hawks, John Collins had 38 points. His stock is going up. You're going to have... He said he wants to stay there. They're going to have to pay him. 38 points tonight. 14 for 19 from the field. 12 rebounds. He had a night. He had a night. You're going to have to pay him. Interesting to see what happens with that situation. 4 for 5 from 3. Okay. That's a good night. Let's see what Draymond's stat line was. Here we go. Are you guys ready? 27 minutes. I promise you I don't. Wait, what's this? He had 27 minutes. He didn't have a field goal attempt. Did he get hurt? He didn't take one shot in 27 minutes. How many assists did he have? He had 9 assists. 2 rebounds. That's the Draymond. I promise you I'm not picking on Draymond, but triple single Draymond is what I like to call him with no Kevin Durant or Steph or Clay. I mean, 124. The Lakers, they knock off that losing streak they had. They beat the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers scored, at one point they had scored 2 points in the third quarter. They ended up scoring 10 points in the third quarter. Dennis Schroeder, it was one of those nights where the Lakers, Dennis Schroeder kind of said, I'm not losing tonight. It seemed that way watching the game. He had a couple chase down blocks. He was playing hard. He was diving all over the floor. He only had 7 points. But Dennis had 17 points, I'm sorry. But he was running all over the floor. It was one of those nights where you see in a guy that you just see in his eyes that I'm not losing tonight. I'm not losing tonight. Whatever it takes, I'm not losing. Montrez had 24. Montrez had a monster game. Montrez was flying all over the floor. He finally seems more comfortable, Montrez, in all of this. He just seems more comfortable. I feel like he's playing freer too. Kuz didn't have that great of a night, only 4 points, but 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He's starting to do the small things, and Frank Vogel talked about Kuzma in that leadership role for the Lakers. Kuz is coming to his own. You guys know how I feel about Kuz. I talk about him a lot on the show. I think he's having a hell of a year. Alex Caruso, 5 points. Jalen Horton Tucker, the guy they didn't want to trade, 15 points. He had a good game, 6 for 11 from the field. And good news for the Lakers. Anthony Davis is cleared for on-court workouts, which is big. Maybe he'll start ramping it up. But Frank Vogel said he's nowhere near coming back. And I think, like I said, I've talked about it a lot on the show. I think they're not going to rush him back. But let's talk about this for a second. Tribute videos. And I was watching the recaps of tonight, and I was watching that Blake Griffin came out, and they didn't say if they gave him a tribute video. But over the years, you've seen like tribute videos for guys that have been in places for a year or two. Like, what's going on with tribute videos? Tribute videos should be for guys that are like lifelong, like Kobe should have got a tribute video. Guys but he never got traded. Let's say like LeBron is a guy like that. James Harden is a guy like that. I get that. Who else? Who else I got traded? Kevin Durant. He won a couple championships with the words tribute guy. Blake Griffin in Detroit does not deserve a tribute video. They're just giving out these tribute videos like it's like what did you do? What did you do to deserve a tribute video? Oh, man. So I'm wondering if is Lou Will getting a tribute video from the Clippers? Hey, come on. Lou Will was good, but he didn't win anything. I mean, he won a 6th man, but come on. I laugh at these tribute videos now. Like, at the end of every tribute video, there should be a championship trophy. There should. You shouldn't be... Tribute videos, man. I'm talking about tribute videos. And, yeah. But if Blake Griffin got one, the White Lion, I like to call him, I don't know. I hope he didn't get a tribute video, though. Who was that a couple years back? Paul Pierce. I don't think he wanted a tribute video because it was LeBron's. Well, I forget what it was, but it was something funny where he wanted to cancel it or whatnot. And we all know Paul Pierce is in his own world. Like Paul Pierce, if you ever have a chance to listen to him on TV, listen to his takes. I mean, his takes are crazy. Like they're almost funny. But I want to talk about Lemon Pepper Lou. He was thinking about retiring after being traded from the Clippers to the Atlanta Hawks, where he's from. Lemon Pepper Lou. You guys know why we call him Lemon Pepper Lou. Last year he was had to quarantine because he got hot wings from a strip club. And I guess they said the wings are good there. He's going back there. So I think it's called Magic City is happy to have Lemon Pepper Lou back. But in all seriousness, Lou Williams is a hell of a ball player. He's a 6th man. They should name the award after him, I personally think. He's an instant bucket. He's one of those guys that when you watch, it's like, does this guy even work out? Probably not, but he just gets to his spots. He knows how to draw fouls. He's a professional scorer. He's a good teammate. I love Lou Williams. He played for the Lakers for a little bit, so I watched him on a nightly basis, and I watch the Clippers on a nightly basis as well. He's instant offense, and the last couple of years with Montrezl Harrell, them two off the bench were crazy. They're just so good. Lemon Pepper Lou. I gotta stop calling him that. Lou Williams is just like a bucket. He gets to his spots easy. He makes the game look so easy. He never seems rushed. He never seems out of sorts. He always is at his own pace. I like Lou Williams, and I hope. I don't know what the situation is in Atlanta, but if they could find a way to get him bought out, there's a lot of teams that would benefit from Lou Will, because obviously right now the Atlanta Hawks are in 6th place, so yeah, he could help out. He could help them out. They'd play. Yeah, they wouldn't even be in the play-in. Yeah, Sweet Lou could be out there balling. Lou will. Yeah, look out for that. And then you hate to see Zion's night go to waste, obviously. He had career high, like I said earlier. And then Harden. He said, I am the MVP. He didn't want to get into the... But I have to say, he's like in Vegas, he's not very high according to Caesar's book. There's like Joker still ahead of him. LeBron, Embiid, Giannis are still ahead of him, and then Damian are still ahead of him. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and they asked me, "Who's your MVP?" And I said, obviously, it's LeBron and Embiid if they're healthy, but they're not. So you have to open up the discussion. The same reason why I opened up the discussion with Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's hurt. He's going to miss a handful of games. You open up the discussion. To me, right now, James Harden is the MVP. Right now. If it stopped right now, he played in most of the games. I think he's missed a handful of games. He's there every night. I really don't know if the Rockets don't trade James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know where they would be, because you can't rely on Kyrie Irving, and I've said that multiple times. Kyrie Irving is not a reliable guy. I like to call Kyrie Irving the third chip guy. And I keep telling you guys are going to hear why I call him the third chip guy, but I'll tell you why I call him the third chip guy later on when I go forward. But to me, to be honest with you, I said it. I can't. You cannot say. You cannot say he's not the MVP. You just can't. All said and done, James Harden right now is my MVP. He is. Like I said, you can't rely on Kyrie. You don't know where they would be without him. And obviously they have all these scorers. They have Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant hasn't been there for them. Kevin Durant, we don't know when he's going to come back. Harden's been that rock. He plays every night. Today, against the Detroit, he led him to a victory. Kyrie, third chip guy. Not available. I don't know. I don't know. James Harden is the MVP. Whether you like it or not. Obviously, like I said, you could make the discussion for LeBron and Embiid, but they're not playing right now. Obviously, Embiid was having I talk about it on the show all the time. He was having a hell of a year. He was healthy. He was in shape. He was moving. He was, like I said, finally coming into his own. It's finally his team. Doc Rivers kind of set that tone where it's kind of like, hey, this is Embiid's team, Ben Simmons. Like, let's ride him. But he got hurt. Injuries happen. I said it. We opened the Rookie of the Year conversation, so we got to open up the MVP talk. And Joker's having a hell of a year. I get that. I get Joker. I do. But to me, the MVP is the best player in the NBA that year. And like I said, LeBron should have more than 4. We've talked about that on the show. But James Harden is my guy. And I'll argue that too. Not till my death, but I would argue it. Tell me why not. Oh, he's on the Brooklyn Nets. What does that mean? Kyrie's not reliable. Kyrie hasn't been there. KD hasn't been there all year. They're not this juggernaut yet. They could be this juggernaut, right? But they're not. They're not that yet. You could almost say that James Harden is keeping them afloat. He is. They're not afloat. I mean, they're a good basketball team. Don't get me wrong. They're a great basketball team. He's averaging 38 minutes a game. What else is he doing? 25 points, and he's dishing the ball. He's playing defense. Averaging almost a steal and a half. 11 assists, 11 and a half assists. Highest in his career. If that ends today, it's highest in his career. How many rebounds we got? Total rebounds, 8 rebounds. Almost a triple-double. Guys, James is the MVP. Whether you like it or not, the Nets aren't that juggernaut yet. They're eventually going to be that juggernaut. And like I said, I won't give you guys my final answer on the Nets. So I see James Harden, Kevin Durant. I don't know how healthy Kevin Durant is. He's obviously the second best player in the NBA, personally. And then Kyrie, third chip guy. Kyrie's going to have to I don't know. I don't know. Kyrie's the guy, I think, the odd man out. But, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back after this brief message. I'm going to give my March Madness predictions. I'm going to give you guys, I might go in, again, a little more into this MVP talk. But March Madness coming up, and we've got some more good NBA coming up. Hold on, after this brief message, I'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, of the show where we talk all the best basketball. So we've talked, I had my little rant on Draymond Green. I promise you we won't talk any more Draymond Green on the show. I talked about a little bit about James Harden for being my front runner in the MVP. Coming up on the show, we've got one more prediction on the March Madness. I'm going to give you guys my picks for this weekend. My bracket isn't doing too hot, but hey, I'm still in first place. But I want to get into this James Harden talk. I touched a little bit on it on my last segment, but I don't think people realize how good James Harden has been. And if you know anything about me, I wasn't the biggest James Harden fan for the Rockets. I thought he was a little lazy. I sometimes, he didn't show up in big games. Postseason, he didn't really show up. He didn't. That's the truth. He has great regular season. So maybe this is a regular season thing that he does every year, right? But we don't know that. He might be a different man. He might see that he kind of has a chance to win a championship this year. I don't know. And like I've said on the show, I will not give you guys my Brooklyn Nets prediction until Kevin Durant's back and we have all the pieces to the puzzle. But for now, so we know we talk about the Brooklyn Nets being this huge juggernaut, but are they this big juggernaut yet? I mean, arguably, they don't have other guys. And you guys hear me say Kyrie's the third chip guy, and I'm going to explain to it my third chip guy scenario, why I say that about Kyrie. But they don't have Kevin Durant, who I think is the second best player in the NBA. I mean, after LeBron James, he's the ultimate cheat code. He's a 7-footer that can ultimately run, shoot, pass, and play defense at an extremely high level. I think he's the best scorer, maybe one of the best scorers of all time. Can't guard him in the half court. You can't guard him anytime. He's unguardable. The G code. Score whenever he wants. But the reason why I think James Harden is the MVP is because he came over this team, and I think that the Brooklyn Nets did that because they don't know about Kyrie. And I take a lot of shots at Kyrie, but you don't know what you're getting from Kyrie any given night. If he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, he might not show up to the arena. He might not. You don't know. You just don't. Kyrie's that guy. Walking stick Kyrie. Essence Kyrie. He's been a little different lately. He has. It's okay. People change. He left LeBron. He left probably one of the best coaches in the NBA, the Celtics. Hey, third chip guy. But James Harden, to me, is the MVP. He has 11 triple-doubles, third behind Russell Westbrook and the Joker. He leads the league in assists, 427 assists. Obviously, they have a good team. Joe Harris, he's got a lot of weapons. He does. But he's averaging 25.5 points, 11.5 assists, and 8 rebounds. And the Brooklyn's only a game and a half back. And honestly, he really hasn't had Kevin Durant. He hasn't had Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie shows up when he wants to. He's missed the last couple games. Here, let's see. So, the Brooklyn Nets are 31-15, game and a half back of the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay. James Harden has come over, and he's played 30 games for the Brooklyn Nets. Right? Like I said, averaging 38 minutes. He's balling. 25 points. We already talked about that. So let's go to Kyrie. Kyrie's played 28 games. Because, he's missed a couple games because he went to that function or whatnot, COVID or I don't know. You just don't know. And then he's missed the last couple games. So he's played, let's say, so he's played 31 games. The Nets have played, they're 31-15, so 46 games. Right? My math, right? Yeah, 46. So he's played in 30 games, basically. 15 games. Is he hurt? COVID or walking sick Kyrie? What is Kyrie? He's obviously one of the best players in the NBA when he's healthy. Or when he's there. He is. He's probably the best finisher ever, maybe? Hey, I don't know. And I don't like to talk about guys in the past. You guys know. I just don't. If you listen to the show, I don't talk about guys in the past that I didn't watch. I'm very much an eye test guy. That's why I like LeBron. I think he's the greatest ever. I watched LeBron firsthand. Jordan's probably great. Kobe was great. But to me, it's an eye test. It's an eye test. And Charles Barkley actually said that James Harden's the best player in the world right now. No. I think the best scorer maybe of all time. I like Melo back in the day. That's just Melo was my guy. KD. If you guys watch any of Kevin Durant, just watch. I mean, Kevin Durant's a cheat code. The guy's 7 foot. He's 7 foot. He can score wherever he wants on the floor, anywhere, off the dribble, pull up, in your mouth, over you. It doesn't matter. He can score at any level, any part of the floor. He can score. Post up. He's 7 footer. It's cheat code. So no, I don't agree with Chuck, but I do think James is the MVP this year. This is the same way I said we could have the door open for Anthony Edwards, in that he can look in the door, even though LaMelo's hurt, but you could talk about it now. Joel Embiid and LeBron were arguably the front runners. They were. I think LeBron is still the MVP. No Anthony Davis all year. The same reason why I give it to James Harden. He hasn't had his Robin. And the other guy, Kyrie, doesn't show up. Joel, like I said, it's his team now. He was in shape. He was in a groove. Doc Rivers kind of took him over the top. It was his team. He was playing well. He was MVP. LeBron, no AD, playing well. Team in second place. No one really talked about it. He was the MVP. LeBron should have more than 4 MVPs. We all know that. I've talked about that on the show. It was his year. But now those guys are hurt. The Joker, with all due respect, your team's floating. You really don't know the Denver Nuggets. And is Joker the best? He probably is the best player on his team, but Murray's pretty good. Right? I don't know. Who else? Giannis? Yeah, Giannis. Can't shoot. Who else? Who else is in the talk? Dame? Dame is having a good year. But what's his team? Where's his team? They're 6th in the West right now. What's the best? The MVP is the best player on the best team. Right? That's what I think. And the best team could be the first or second in the other league. Western, the Jazz don't have they don't have a superstar. They don't have an all-star. Or they do have all-stars, but they don't have an MVP is what I'm trying to say. Steph, what? No. What are we talking? Steph's having a good year. You talking about Draymond's triple single? No, he had no points tonight. No, I know he doesn't have any help, but no, Steph, no. It's James Harden. James Harden's the guy. James Harden's the MVP this year. So let me explain third chip guy. So we all have Super Bowl parties, right? We all have parties, big parties that we invite our friends to. And So the most important snacks and this is for Kyrie. This is why I don't trust Kyrie. I just don't. So when you have a Super Bowl party, you have people that bring things, right? It's usually a potluck. It's usually somebody makes the nachos. Somebody brings I don't know. What do you eat? Wings, pizza. You usually usually the people that bring those things, they'll usually be like, hey, do you need me to bring the wings? Do you need me to bring the pizza? Do you need me to bring, important food, right? Those are usually your most reliable friends. Because you know they're going to bring it. You just know it. Then you have a drinks guy, right? Then you have a beer guy. You have those guys. Everyone's going to bring their stuff, right? But then there's chips. The chips, anybody can bring chips, right? There's guys like me bring chips. Guys that, sometimes they're not the most reliable people. Hey, I'll show up to a tea time on time. I'll be there for golf. But to bring, I'll bring chips. And the reason why Kyrie's the third chip guy is because you have the first two guys that are going to bring chips. So the first guy's going to bring chips. You know he's going to bring them. The second guy, you don't know if he's going to bring chips all the time, but he might bring them. And the third guy, he's probably just not going to bring them. He's going to forget. Oh, man, I forgot. Do you still need me to go get him? That's Kyrie. You don't know if he's going to show up on any given night. You don't. That's why I call him the third chip guy. Not, they're good people. Well, you just don't know where their head's at sometimes. It's a guy that shows up to the party with his shoes untied, different color socks. I don't know. Sometimes he's not there. Great guy, good friend. You just don't rely on him for anything. Your car breaks down, you're not calling third chip guy. If your car breaks, if James Harden's car broke down, he's not calling Kyrie. He's calling KD. He might be calling DeAndre Jordan. He might call Joe Harris. He might even call Steve Nash. He's not calling Kyrie. He's just not. I don't know. I don't know. That's my assessment on the Brooklyn Nets, and I won't give you guys my assessment on the Brooklyn Nets. They're a hell of a team. They're just not that juggernaut yet. They're not. They're just not. They will be though. Eventually, they will be. Once they get KD back, I don't know how healthy he's going to be. But if he's healthy, I mean, I still like the Sixers coming out of the East. I do. I don't know why. I just think what they got going, I like them. Tobias Harris is playing well. Doc Rivers, I like Doc Rivers. I've bought into Doc. I like Doc Rivers now that he's left the Clippers. I don't know. I'm a Laker guy. You guys know that. I'm not a homer or anything, but hey, LeBron guy. It's okay. But I like the Nets. I think they're going to be great. I think the Lakers are healthy with Anthony Davis and LeBron. It's going to be those two teams. NBA would be happy. Adam Silver would be happy. I think it'd be a hell of a matchup. Let's get into this March Madness, my picks for this weekend. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. Let's see who we got. I have... Let's see the games. March Madness has been great, guys. It's always one of the best events. Every March Madness is good. Every year, it's just I gave you guys my bracket a while back, and hope you didn't put too much money on it because I'm not doing too hot. But that's okay. It's okay. I'm still in first place. People don't like to play me in it for good reason. But let's go through these games for this weekend. Who do we got this weekend? It's loaded. It's loaded though. It's loaded. I'm excited for this one. Saturday we got Oregon State against Loyola Chicago. I hate picking against. I told you that. I've told you guys this. I hate picking against a sister. I hate it. But I'm gonna go with my Oregon State. I'm gonna go Oregon State. I like Oregon State. Pac-12 makes some noise. Pac-12's been great. Pac-12's been phenomenal. So I'm going to go Pac-12. I'm going to go Oregon State. And then Villanova, Baylor. This is a hard pick for me because you guys know how much I love Villanova. I like Villanova a lot. Just because they're just pros, They're coached well. They play hard. They're disciplined. They switch on defense. They make shots. But Baylor's tough. Baylor's a good basketball team, guys. I'm gonna go with Villanova upset. Let's go Villanova. Yeah. Baylor's tough though. Baylor flies all over the floor. Oral Roberts, Arkansas. That's a battle of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Not too far apart. Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think Oral Roberts is in Tulsa, and then Fayetteville. You guys know one of my favorite cities in the world. Second favorite city in the world. Los Angeles being number 1. Fayetteville being number 2. I'm gonna go with my Razorbacks. I told you guys the Razorbacks have been one of my favorite teams. I like the Razorbacks. I've liked them a lot. I liked them a lot all year. They're just scrappy. I love their coach. He jumped on the table the other day. Come on, kidding me? You see that? You're fired up. You're ready to run through a wall for that coach. You love that. Syracuse, Buddy Buckets against number 2 Houston. I'm gonna go Boeheims. I like the Boeheims. They're a tough basketball team. They can shoot. Buddy Buckets and let him get hot. Houston's a good basketball team, guys. Houston's good. I'm going to go Syracuse, though. I'm going to go all upsets except for Arkansas. I think Arkansas's it takes them a while to get going, but then once Arkansas gets going, Oral Roberts is hot, though. I'm going to go Arkansas still. But Syracuse. I like Syracuse, Buddy Buckets with Coach Boeheim. That zone has been insane. It's been suffocating teams. Good basketball team all around, and they suffocate their opponent. That zone defense is crazy. I love it when you play an old man's league and you get some guys that run that zone defense. Get guys like me that just shoot over the top of it. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, I got a dad bod and it's okay. I can shoot a little bit. If I get hot, look out. But if I can't shoot, oh man, I can't throw it in the ocean. It gets tough. Number 5, Creighton plays Gonzaga on Sunday at 11 a.m. I'm looking at the tickets. The tickets are $597 for the lowest ticket. I have Gonzaga winning that. You guys know how I feel about Gonzaga. Good coach, good system, pros, and could shoot. That's my biggest thing. Pros, coach, and can shoot. And by pros, I mean NBA talent. You guys know that. Gonzaga. I don't know how you could pick against Gonzaga. They're just a really good basketball team. Really good basketball team. Inside and out. Good bigs. Run the floor. Knock down. And then Michigan, Florida State. That's going to be a good game, I think. That might be the game of the weekend for me. Florida State is really well coached. Another team that's really well coached. Knockdown shot. Very sound defensively. And I'm going to go with Florida State. The Big Ten has been a little shaky to me. And Michigan could be shaky. I don't trust them. All my Michigan people listening, I still love you guys. You guys have great summers. Michigan has great summers if you guys are looking at places to go, but I can't trust them. I have them winning this game in my bracket too, I think. But I just can't trust them. UCLA, Alabama. It's going to be a good game. I think. UCLA's hot right now. Pac-12 is hot. Bama's good, though. Bama's a good basketball team. I want to pick UCLA. I really do. So I got Gonzaga, Florida State. I like UCLA. I would love to see UCLA play USC. That'd be fun. I'm obviously based out of Los Angeles, and college basketball is not as big as it is in other places here because we've got the Lakers, the Clippers. What else we got? We got every other sport. The Rams are good. The Dodgers are good. So college sports are kind of on the back burner here. But I would like to see that. But I think Alabama's going to pull it off. I'm going to go Alabama. I think Alabama's just too good, even though UCLA is hot. And then to cap it all off, we got Oregon against USC, the fighting Trojans. Fight on, baby. I don't know if fighting Trojans is a thing, but I'm gonna go. You know who I'm gonna go with? Oregon's a tough basketball team, now, guys. Oregon's a tough basketball team, and they look good. They really do. They've been here before. USC hasn't been here, but they've got that Mobley, what's his name? Mosley kid. That's legit. He's going to be a top 5 pick, top 10 pick. He's legit. I like USC. They blew out Kansas, too. That's what I mean. You know who I'm rocking with. Fight on, baby. Fight on forever. The Legend of Troy, USC. And then we got games on Monday. So the winners of the Saturday games. And then Tuesday, we've got the winners of the Sunday game. No games on Wednesday. No games on Thursday. No games on Friday. Final Four on Saturday. And the championship on Monday. They're doing it at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's massive. It's going to be a good game, guys. I'm pumped. I really am. I think it's going to be a really good game. We've got some NBA. We've also got some good NBA games this weekend. I think March Madness is obviously what you want to watch this weekend. March Madness is going to be on everyone's televisions, and the country's opening back up again, so there's going to be some more people out. Maybe a little more people meeting up. A little bit of all that. No one wants to watch the Pistons against the Wizards tomorrow. No one's going to watch that. Knicks and Bucks going to be good. That's going to be a good game. Like I told you, Knicks are one of my favorite teams in the East. Bucks are, Bucks are good. Houston against Minnesota. Come on. I need Anthony Edwards to go off. No 12 points. We need 20-plus points to open up that talk. Bulls against the Spurs. That's going to be boring. But it'll be a good game, though. I can't be saying that stuff, man. What if the Bulls want to hire me? Mavs, Pelicans. That'll be a good game. Luka Magic. Boston Thunder. Another good game. Memphis gets another crack at the Jazz. And then Cleveland, Sacramento. Philly Clippers is going to be a good one to watch. That's going to be the nightcap. That's going to be at Staples. That's going to be a good game. Ben Simmons. Sunday, we got the Suns against the Charlotte Hornets. It'll be a solid game. My favorite East team. Trailblazers, Toronto Raptors. And then we got Hawks, Nuggets. And then Magic, Lakers. Oh, Lakers might win 2 straight. Probably will. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It's a great show. I went off a little bit. I did my Draymond Green stuff. My James Harden is the MVP this year. No Joel, no LeBron. We talked about that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's another show. Another great time having you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Great rest of wherever you're listening to me. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great afternoon. Eddie is logging off. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.